YouTube, what's happening? It's Richard, founder of Short-Term Rental University and professional real estate developer. And today's video is something that I've been meaning to make for an extended period of time. It really relates to something that I don't hear very many people think about, talk about, discuss, or maybe are unaware. And that is there risk in short-term rentals? But before we get started, if you're new to Airbnb and haven't set up your account, we'll include a link in the description below to open up your account. And in interest of full transparency, we get a little bit of income, which we reinvest back into the channel to grow you and others. So let's get right into the video. So here's the thing. Not everything can go up perpetually, right? Like we all know that. What goes up must go down. We've all heard this time and time again. And yet every time I log into Instagram or Facebook or get emails, all I see is all the amazing opportunities in short-term rentals, and you don't need any of your own money, and you can do it with like leases and rental arbitrage and get rich quick and all this stuff about how much money people are making and they're going to make and they're going to continue to make and they're going to make forever and it's life-changing. And you know, like the first thing I'll say is it doesn't matter what the asset class is or who the person speaking is, my antenna goes up. Like immediately, I'm just suspect because that just can't be true. But then I'll also take a step back and use my methodology that I've used for decades. For those of you that are new to the channel, I used to run a $4.5 billion hedge fund. I've invested in asset classes all across the world, and I see this time and time again. So something gets, popular, and then it goes straight up, and then people get glom onto it and they think it's really easy, and then more and more people and more capital and more, and it just keeps happening, and it's the greater fool theory, right? It's like you're playing the game of hot potato. When will the music stop? I want a seat. We saw it in 2000 during the .com era, and I think that there's a possibility we're going to see something like that in the short-term rental space. I'm extremely upbeat about the short-term rental market, especially when done correctly. It's my single largest investment and holding, and I'm investing more the right way in 2020 and beyond. But I just want to caution you that I have not heard very many people, if any, discuss risk. And in anything where there is a reward, there is risk. So we just need to understand that if you proceed, and I think you should do it intelligently and with caution, you just need to be aware that there's some risk involved. And as long as you're being fairly compensated for the risk that you're taking, there's absolutely no problem with it. What I want to share with all of you, those of you that are unaware or not thinking about this or not hearing about it, is that there's a lot of risk in the short-term rental market, like there's risk in anything that we do. And consequently, I urge you to do your homework and become educated, know what it is that you're investing in, understand the rules and the regulatory, understand what happens, when the market rolls over, which it will. The stock market's not going to go up forever. Housing market's not going to go up forever. People spending on travel, there will be periods where that doesn't occur. There's all sorts of things that are influences and affected by the short-term rental market, and those are risks. Some are known, some are unknown, but those risks exist. And I just want to be the guy that's on YouTube and in Instagram and on Facebook and in emails cautioning people that as lucrative as this is and as great as an opportunity as this is when it's done properly, that there's also risk. I do not want anybody to be misled or be fooled or invest their life savings or spend a lot of time, money, and energy thinking that they've got the surefire thing. And the reality of it is it's a pretty great investment. We've got tax benefits. We've got compensation that is far higher than any other risk-adjusted real estate investment, whether it's a long-term rental, multifamily, and retail, commercial. So it's a very good place to play in the real estate space. And so it's really important that we do it the right way so that what we make today, we keep, we reinvest, we grow, we scale, and we do it in an intelligent fashion that's filled with knowledge as opposed to hope. You've heard me teach this before. Hope is not a strategy. I do not hope that short-term rentals continue to grow in popularity and in valuation. I do something about it. I invest in the right locations. I invest the right way. I invest in the right communities. I have the right thesis and theme and brand and all the things that I'm teaching so that I have a unique, sustainable, repeatable business model that works. But if I was doing it entirely differently, then I might be overwhelmed by the risk and never get to the reward. And so I just would like to caution everybody, like in everything, there's risk when you cross the street, there is risk in the short-term rental market. I personally, after decades of investing billions of dollars, happen to think it's the best risk-adjusted return I've seen ever, and that's why I'm so bullish on it. But that does not mean that I can't be wrong. That does not mean that it is risk-free. That does not mean that I will not lose money. It just means it's an incredible opportunity that we have to take advantage of while it's here, because it's fleeting, but we must understand that there is in fact risk in the portfolio. So do me a favor, do you agree with me? Leave a comment below. What risks do you see? Or tell me why it's risk-free. Go ahead, argue that position. I'd like to hear why it's risk-free. And in the meantime, I encourage you as always to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and stay out of harm's way, friends. There's risk there, avoid it.